is DELE ADEYANJU. Thank you so much for starting with us. I have with me three newspapers. I have the Daily Post, I have the Punch newspaper, and I have the Nigerian Tribune newspaper. We're live on Facebook and YouTube, 32FM 949 Ibadan. 32FM 949 Ibadan. Like our Facebook page, subscribe to our YouTube channel this morning. I bring you headlines from the Daily Post newspaper. First, pray for us to avert death of our members. Or your NUJ appeals to Nigerians. Pray for us to avert death of our members. Or your NUJ appeals to Nigerians. Lawyers, litigants stranded as Jusun begins strike in Ogun. Twitter ban enters third month amid economic mental health effects on youth. That's one of the headlines of the Daily Post newspapers. And Gani Fawayemi's son, Mohammed, is dead. Pioneer president of NANS, Comrade Lado, is dead. Proda boss Onje reacts. Jubilation as first commercial flight lands in Bielsa Airport. Microfinance Bank MD bags 5 years for 4.7 million naira scam. Adamawa, what APC chairman said that led to its suspension. Hush Poppy, 31 northern lawyers set to defend Abakiari. Caution Bishop Oyedepo, his utterances promote sexual, gender-based violence. Feminists urge CAN, PFN. Also, Federal Executive Council approves federal roads, bridges tolling policy. WHO announces 3 new drugs for COVID-19 clinical trials. Also here, Okorocha asks court to stop EFCC, Igbo government from confiscating its property. Drama as Zulum conducts impromptu tests for Brno teachers. Tinubu has no certificates, steals huge amounts of Lagos money monthly, but they judge. I take that again. Tinubu has no certificates, steals huge amounts of Lagos money monthly, but they judge. It's shocking that Kogi has not implemented 30,000 naira minimum wage. Okay, and Oshun NYSC calls for equal treatment of women. And just before we look at another paper, do not withdraw your support for flood control in Ibadan. Makinde begs World Bank.
Right, I'll take headlines from Premium Times. Nigeria set to reintroduce toll gates as FEC approves new roads policy. Nigeria to reverse Twitter ban soon as talks progress. That's coming from an official. On COVID-19, Nigeria records 610 new cases, 2 deaths on Tuesday. Cholera spreads in Nigeria as 146 confirmed dead in Kebbi. Many African countries frown as Israel gains AU observer status. Mohammed, Gani Fawayemi's son, is dead. All right, this one here says Nimet predicts Thursday to Saturday's weather across Nigeria. And nightclub arrests, court orders police Abuja agency to pay damages to 6 women. Analysis how reps failed to break doctor strike after 2 days of meeting. More headlines from Premium Times. Demolition, more mosques affected than churches in Borno State. Court grants alleged Ponzi scheme operator 2 billion naira bill. Jigawa NUJ Correspondence Chapel chairman is dead. Another sad one there. Katsina lawmakers approve new state logo. And let's see one more headline from here. Kogi Poly withdraws 217 students over poor performance, expels 1 for forgery. Those are headlines from Premium Times.
From the Punch newspaper, 4,528 Nigerian doctors moved to UK in 6 years. Council recalled envoy. Diplomat arrived today. Indonesia defends assault. Ashpopi, 31 northern lawyers volunteer to defend Kyari against the FBI. NERD strike. Federal government always breaching agreements, alleges NMA. Federal government laments as abductors collect extra 24 million naira on Baptist school students. Gani Fawayemi's son, Mohammed, dies at 52. Twitter has agreed to set up Nigeria office in 2022. Federal government and CSO alleges fee racketeering in FCT schools, demands probe. Customs van killed 8 in Katsina due to brake failure. That's Nigerian Customs Service. And presidency, George rebukes Tinubu supporters, recommends check-up. Ocean plans live transmission of festival, tells foreign tourists to stay away. Recalled envoy, diplomat arrived today. Okay, I took that earlier. Baba Jesha's trial adjourned till September 27. And Kogi Poly drops 217 for poor academic performance, expels final year students.
All right, the Nation newspaper, no plan to lead party again, says Oshiomhole. All right, DSS squeezes former governor, 5 others over anti-Buhari comments. Toll payment returns on 5,050-kilometer federal highways. Unlocking export market opportunities for women and youth. That's a report in the Nation newspaper. Also, World Congress's APC gets petition from 14 states. And, more headlines from the Nation newspaper. Hush Puppy didn't launder $31 million for me, Dinomilaye. What you probably didn't know about Gani Fawemi's late son, Okorocha fails to stop Imo over seized properties. Also, security progress more likely in atmosphere of unity and tolerance. That's coming from the Vice President, Yemi Osinbajo. Federal Executive Council approves reintroduction of toll plazas. My dad asked me to prioritize civil servants, pensioners and teachers. That's the Ogun State Governor, Abiodun. Federal Executive Council approves $2.5 million, 498.2 million naira for power projects. Leave me out of APC leadership crisis, Oshiomhole. Candle fire destroys 30 houses in Rivers State. And this is one final headline from the Nation. Baba Ijesha back on set as sexual assault trial is adjourned.
Front page of the Nigerian Tribune. 18 years after, federal government okays return of toll gate with its riders. Cars to pay 200 naira. SUVs to pay 300 naira. Private buses 300 naira. Commercial buses 150 naira. Luxury buses, trucks 500 naira. Tricycles, motorcycles exempted. Tolling to start when roads are motorable, Fashola says. All disengaged Kaduna workers should be paid appropriate benefits. Federal Government Committee report says. WHO announces 3 new drugs for COVID-19 clinical trials. Oshpopi, 31 northern lawyers volunteer to defend Kyari. Also, Mohammed Gani Fawemi's son dies at 52. How and when Kyari can be lawfully extradited, and Okorocha loses bid to stop demolition of his properties in Owerri. Finally, from the Nigerian Tribune front page, I am not plotting to return as APC chairman, Oshiomhole.
All right, I'll take a few headlines from a Guardian newspaper. Okay, this one says, experts weigh costs as federal government plans to unban Twitter. How graft unstable economy fuel insecurity by ICPC. Obasaki commends agencies for improved security in Edo State. Traditional media already had COVID-18 before COVID-19. MD laments. Mother, son, others nabbed for internet fraud. And Gani Fawemi's first son, Mohammed, dies. And finally, from this paper, which is the Guardian newspaper, federal government seeks partnership to revamp skills workshop in Lagos. We'll observe our first break for today. We'll be back to analyze the major stories.
Uncle Dentist, wetin be cavities and how Colgate take dey protect my teeth from cavities? Shey dey use comfort?
No dear, na hole for teeth dey cause most tooth pain wey be cavity. But if you use Colgate Maximum Cavity Protection take brush every day, the confirmed formula go help keep natural calcium inside our teeth wey go protect them from tooth decay.
Time don reach to upgrade to the world's most chosen toothpaste, Colgate, because Colgate locks calcium in.
Now, the Nigerian Dental Association, they recommend Colgate.
Celebrate something big with Showmax this football season. Pay for 1 month at Showmax Pro or Showmax Pro Mobile and get a second month on us to watch mind-blowing football in action from the world's best leagues. That's every breathtaking tackle, save, goal, and more from the EPL, La Liga, Serie A, and DStv Premiership. Live from Supersport at 50% off. Sign up at showmax.com and get more for less.
Egbògi àtẹ̀jẹ̀ ṣe ni ó dára fẹ̀jẹ̀ gidi gan. Veneto cleanser ló ń jẹ́ o. Veneto cleanser ló ń jẹ́ o.
Ojú rẹ̀ ṣàǹjọ̀lọ̀ lójoojúmọ́ kí làṣírí ẹ wà ní.
Veneto cleanser ní ìjà mi sí ọ̀rẹ́. Veneto cleanser egbògi àtẹ̀jẹ̀ ṣe tí bàdọ̀tí ara wọ̀ yá ìjà rẹ̀ wọ́n mọ̀lẹ̀ ṣe wọ́n yẹbẹyẹbẹ. Inú tó ń kú tó ń dàrú gbòdògbòdò kò bára rẹ̀ èrí inú ẹ̀jẹ̀. Amọ̀nà ti dé o. Veneton cleanser egbòogi atẹ́jẹ̀ṣe tí a fi ewé àti egbò ṣe ní ọ̀nà tìgbàlódé. NAFDAC fòǹtẹ̀lù EMI1 Nigeria Limited ni wọ́n gbé Veneton cleanser jáde. A wà ní nọ́mbà 17 Ọba Akínyẹlé off Adeogun Street Aláàfin Avenue Olúyọ̀lé Estate Ring Road Ìbàdàn. Telephone 08034051533 fún títà àti rírà. Ìwọ náà darapọ̀ mọ́ wa. Veneton cleanser àmọ̀tẹ́kùn egbòogi tí ń ya gbogbo kòkòrò inú ẹ̀jẹ̀ wẹ́lẹ́wẹ́lẹ́.
With Airtel Home Broadband device, your home is connected and you all can focus on the important things in life. Enjoy the finer things in life in the Airtel HBB seasonal offer. Visit any certified Airtel shop to get a 4G MiFi at 9,999 Naira plus up to 55 gigabyte bonus data, or router at 19,999 Naira plus up to 160 gigabyte bonus data. Offer valid while stock lasts. Terms and conditions apply.
Airtel, the smartphone network.
Babe, that girl must be using something. Hey, Berry, what kind of something? You to see how she's always smiling, displaying her 32. You're cuckoo right. I know her secrets. I know what she's using. She uses it twice a day. Tell me her secrets. I'll give you a hint. ABZ. ABZ?
Yes, ABZ is the secret. Close-Up contains antibacterial zinc, ABZ, which gives you 3 times more freshness and 3 times more protection. Better than your regular toothpaste. Now you know the ABZ secret.
The new Close-Up is her secret. Everybody must hear. You can't keep a secret.
New Close-Up with antibacterial zinc. Triple the freshness, triple the protection.
Oh, mommy! Lọ mọ̀ pé débi tí ebílẹ̀ ṣe àìpò méjì fún mi. Máàmì méjì báwo? Torí pé màá fi kan rẹ àwọn aṣọ funfun yìí. Màá fi kan tó kò pa gbogbo kòkòrò. Ṣùgbọ́n èmi ò rí kòkòrò bíbá ẹ̀ máàmì. Wo wọ́n kéré débi pé ṣùgbọ́n wá ìdí nìyẹn tó kàn mí fi balẹ̀ lórí bílíìṣì àìpò láti pa wọ́n pátápátá.
Jẹ́ káṣọ funfun rẹ funfun sí i kí lè rẹ́ sì bọ́ lọ́wọ́ kòkòrò àìfojúrí tí ń fa àìsàn. Agbára àfọ̀mọ́ tó wà nínú bílíìṣì àìpò yóò pa gbogbo kòkòrò àìfojúrí pátápátá.
Thank you so much for staying with us. It's Breaker Dawn newspaper review on 32 FM 94.9 Ibadan. Don't forget you're live on Facebook and YouTube, 32 FM 949 Ibadan. That's our handle. Like our Facebook page and subscribe to our YouTube channel. My name is DELE ADEYANJU.
And my name is GBEMISOLA. SOYEMI. All right, we are joined by Dr. Olu Ojedokun in the studio. Good morning to you, Doctor.
Oh, top of the day to you.
All right, so the very first story we are taking a look at this morning is this is in Premium Times, and it says Nigeria set to reintroduce toll gates as Federal Executive Council approves new roads policy. The Federal Executive Council has approved the Federal Roads and Bridges tolling policy and regulations aimed at reintroducing toll gates on Nigerian roads. According to the Minister of Works and Housing, Babatunde Fashola, the policy and regulations were developed after extensive consultations with various stakeholders within and outside the government. Nigeria is about to reintroduce toll gates, and there are new roads policies that we might have to obey now. Is this the right time, bearing in mind the socio-economic challenges the country is facing? Do you think this is the time, or would there ever be a right time to do this particular or to introduce this kind of policies?
First and foremost, toll gates are not new in Nigeria. We used to have the toll gates on Lagos Ibadan Expressway, but that was abruptly cancelled by Olusegun Obasanjo because of the monumental corruption that accompanied it. So toll gates has always been a way of raising revenue for the government to maintain roads and to ensure that our infrastructure continues.
Hello, Doctor.
Developed countries, but the point that we made about toll gates, you must have alternatives. So, not afford the long route or whatever. Lekki Express, you have the toll gates, but alternative routes. And the problem with the is that many of this road alternative. Other side, government this money goes to the government. And therefore, implementation where the biggest test. We introduce toll gates, and it up in the people who build proper point. So implementation has to be most routes.
Hello, doctor. Hello.
Yeah.
We have to reconnect with you because the network is not friendly at all. Yes, we can hear you now. Hello.
Oh, you can hear me now. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, please, can you recap all you said about the toll gates?
Summarize.
Okay, summarize. Yes, what I'm trying to say is that toll gate policy in all over the world is something which many countries have implemented. But those countries, what they do is they have alternatives. So you have those who can afford toll gates will go through the toll gate, and those who can't afford it will have alternative routes. I've also said number two, if we are going to introduce toll gates, we must ensure that the money goes to the federal government and not into the pockets of private individuals. Because when the toll gates existed during the time prior to Obasanjo, a lot of people embezzled the money. The money were going to private pockets, and that's why Olusegun Obasanjo abruptly cancelled the toll gates. And thirdly, of course, it is a good way of raising revenue to ensure that our roads are in good shape and that we can continue to expand our road network. So by and large, toll gates is not a bad policy, but we must have alternative for other road users who are unable to afford or unable to use those toll gates. If we can bring those policies together, then of course it will be a welcome development, toll gates in Nigeria.
Okay. Fashola also said, we should say this, that the tolls will not start until the roads are motorable, and this will only affect federal dual carriage roads. So we are expecting, this means we are expecting that there would be some reconstruction of the major roads that are already dilapidated, and we expect that the government would maybe take it more seriously this time around, because according to them, I see this as a promise that this will not start until we have motorable roads. So it means in the next couple of years we should expect to see some reconstructions or some rehabilitations happening on these major roads, if that is right.
Yes, already the federal government has involved itself, or has embarked on a major reconstruction of roads. So that's already going at pace. You can say the Lagos-Ibadan road, which is almost taking 20 years or whatever many years to do, but at least roads are being reconstructed. And it makes sense that only when roads are reconstructed and are motorable and are accessible, then you toll them. And you toll them, why? Because you want to maintain the quality and the standard of the roads. That's the reason why you toll them. So I think it's good policy to face it in. And it's not every road that is going to be tolled. You can't toll every road possible, because you're going to need manpower, you're going to need staffing, which is a good thing in itself. But you're going to also be able to monitor the toll that is collected. And I think they're probably going to be a new development in collection of toll. It's not always all going to be cash. Maybe you use your credit card or maybe use your debit card. There has to be smart ways to collect this money to prevent people from embezzling the whole lot.
But I'm sure these toll plazas or toll gates will be given to some concessionaire companies. So a lot of money is going to be involved, Doctor.
Yes. I mean, like what happened in Lekki, where it wasn't the government collecting it, but actually it was private people with concessions that are collecting it. So yes, your suggestion is the way I think the government will proceed, and the government will get their own fair share of it, and the fair share of it will go towards maintaining of the roads. And
in fact, sometimes it's likely it comes upfront for the government, while the concessionaire companies or the concessioning companies then work on recouping their investment.
Yes. Well, that's one model. The model is that they pay up front for 20, 40, 50 years. That's one model. Another working model is that each time they collect, a percentage of it goes to the government. So it depends on the model they want to implement. But Nigeria is more familiar with the model that you mentioned, which is you collect up front and then they run it as they deem, as they please.
All right, in other news, Dr. Ojedokun, there is this report here: do not withdraw your support for flood control in Ibadan. Makinde begs World Bank. And I take few paragraphs from that story. Governor Seyi Makinde of Oyo State has begged the World Bank not to withdraw its support for flood control in Ibadan. Makinde made the appeal yesterday. Daily Post recalls that Ibadan Urban Flood Management Project, a World Bank funded initiative, started during the administration of the immediate past governor, late Abiola Ajimobi. It was, however, gathered that the project has been having some issues since the inception of Makinde. It was gathered that the World Bank had earlier vowed to withdraw its support for the flood control project in some parts of Ibadan. There was a report earlier in the week that Makinde has been accused of high-handedness and some other things. That's why the World Bank has decided not to go ahead with that project.
Well, there's a popular saying, and I'm sure you're aware, "You pays the piper dictates the tune." So, I mean, when you're getting grants and when you're getting money from international agencies, then you must be prepared to be flexible, you must be prepared to bend, and you must be prepared to adapt. And I fear that the reason why the World Bank was making all this noise about withdrawing funding is because they felt that the Oyo State government, to a great extent, was not following, the blueprint which they might have set out. And you also have to see it from the Oyo State government's point of view. I mean, they're elected by the people and they determine the priorities of the people. But you also have to decide. If you don't have the money to implement your priorities, you must bend, you must accommodate. And I think that's what the government of Oyo State must learn, to be flexible, to accommodate the whims. I don't want to say caprices, but the whims of World Bank. Because you may remember, you may not, but flood has been so destructive in Oyo State in the past, particularly in the Ogunpa area, where it was disastrous so many years ago, particularly in the 80s. And I think a long-term solution is required and is needed, from that point of view. So let's hope that they can resolve this difference and that Oyo State is not the loser at the end of the day. It will help the economy of Oyo State. It will protect the people and to expand, of course, the role of government. Government can then spend the money that they are on other items or other infrastructure issues.
All right. Away from that, Doctor, the Federal Executive Council also yesterday approved $2.5 million and 498.2 million naira for power projects. And the Minister of Power, Engineer Saleh Maman, said yesterday that the Federal Ministry of Power received the blessing of the Executive Council by giving 4 approvals for their contracts. He said one is the supply and installation of motorized portable hydraulic compressor for the Transmission Company of Nigeria, and in favor of one company. And of course, this is one of the ministries that gulps a lot of money. We've invested so much in this in power projects in the past, and we are still where we are. Now, with this new approval, do we see at any time soon? Do we see any progression or any? Should we be looking forward to any changes in the power sector?
Well, one significant thing about this recent approval is transmission. Our problem majorly is transmission. We generate much more than we transmit. So we generate maybe about 10 million megawatts or whatever, or 10,000 or whatever it is, 10 million. I can't remember the figure. But we are unable to transmit up to 50% of that. And so the investment in transmission, of course, must be a welcome development. But I ask the question, we have the Mambila project that has been going on for ages that has not been resolved. We are bogged down with contractual disputes. So it's not just the government, allocating funds. We must remember that the entire industry has actually been privatized. But the problem that we have is that government continues to subsidize, because the privatization was privatization of decrepit infrastructure that needed a lot of intervention from the government. And the only way that you could get all these private businessmen and private institutions to get involved was for government to continue to subsidize. So any investment that is made into this sector must ensure that the subsidy in the long term comes to an end, because government cannot continue to subsidize, losses. It's just not sustainable. But I think this is a welcome development if it's invested in transmission, and let's see what happens. But as you said, yes, a lot has gone in, and we have not seen a lot of results, and it must be disheartening. But what can we do? We cannot leave power without any investment, lest we will not be able to grow as a viable economy in the world.
If we recall, some months back, there was an issue with subsidy when it comes to power, and the federal government had to, beg Labour Congress or had to set up a committee that had people from the Nigeria Labour Congress and the federal government, delegates also from the federal government, to sit together and decide how to go about it. The NLC was going to make Nigerians or spur Nigerians to go on protests, of course, and I think that also happened around when we had some other protests, NSAS and all of that. Now, since that period, after the delegations were to come together and discuss, we've not exactly heard anything. Is there any new developments that we should know about?
No, I don't think it's been resolved. Let me tell you the key issue here. The key issue here is that the power companies, without government subsidy, cannot sustain their operations. Tariffs should have been the way to which they sustain their operations, like any other business does. You charge, and based on the charge, you build in your profit margin, you build in maintenance, and you build in other taxes and so on and so forth. But with the power sector, it's not so. And so what they've been trying to do, what the government has been trying to do, is to shift a lot of the expenditure, shift a lot of the spending onto tariffs so that you and I are able to pay for it. But of course, it's suicidal because first and foremost, our pay packets, our wages cannot sustain such enormous increases. And I think there's still a stalemate because the Labour Congress is saying no, the tariffs have to be affordable, the tariffs have to be something that people can pay, they cannot be exorbitant. And the other side, the government is saying, but we don't have money to be able to expand the infrastructure and to maintain power at the level that we should. So I think the statement still continues. And I feel what they did was they kicked it into the long grass. What do I mean long grass? Which means kicked it further down the line. There's still going to be argument over this. There's still going to be dispute, and an agreement has to be reached. Do we raise the money for infrastructure in power from tariffs? And if we raise it from tariffs, how many people will be able to afford power? And I'm not sure many people will be able to.
On the other hand, we have the Ministry of Petroleum that has been able to, back and forth about subsidy and all, but then we keep hearing that subsidy would be removed, but everybody looks like every month the federal government would once again come out to approve subsidy, approval of giving subsidy to Nigerians. Now, why are we not seeing the same thing happen in the power sector and the power ministry?
Well, it's happening by default because yes, while tariffs are increasing, but the tariffs have not increased sufficient to be able to pay for the infrastructure, which means that the degree of subsidy is still happening. There's still subsidy in the power sector. In the petroleum sector, which you've rightfully quoted, they too are in a similar situation because whilst they continue to approve month after month, if you look at the fiscal structure, if you look at the financial public finances, you will discover that we cannot sustain it beyond a few months to come because we keep on borrowing. And whilst we borrowed for this budget, are we going to be able to find the loans to borrow for next budget? So I think whether it's petroleum subsidy, whether it's electricity subsidy, at some point in time, the chickens are going to come home to roost. So we might have a mainstay in in petroleum for some time longer than we have for power. But at some point in time, the government is going to have to resolve it, whether it's sustainable. We're not saying whether it is right. We're saying whether we can afford it. It is right for me to have a new car, but can I afford it? And that's the question, the existential question the government must answer and resolve.
All right, we'll take a break for some messages now. When we come back, we'll bring you more headline stories. Dr. Dedokun, stay with us.
Many people just wonder how my toilet does to stay clean, how my toilet know they get germs. Number secret to my healthy family living. Power active clean soul toilet clean. No matter the day, make it just no say. Clean soul. Kills 99.9.
Cleans all toilet cleaner. Small change, big difference for a healthy family.
bọ́lá kan ò ṣe wọjà nígbà aṣẹ́ kan ò ṣe tó jẹ mọ́ lásìkò tá a wà yìí láti wá tètè gúnlẹ̀ sébùtì ògo láfiníkà fọwọ́ wà fàjẹwà pẹ̀lú multilevel marketing cooperative investment credit society limited ẹgbẹ́ alájẹsẹ́kù tí bá ní ìpìlẹ̀ ọ̀la ká lè bá tètè roko délé ajé lójú ọjọ́ pẹ̀lú kátàkárà lórí àwọn àkòṣe ojoojúmọ́ bíi herbal food supplements àti bẹ́ẹ̀ bẹ́ẹ̀ lọ. a jẹ́ pé gbogbo ẹni tó bá darapọ̀ mọ́gbẹ́ alájẹsẹ́kù multilevel marketing ni ó jàǹfààní ètò ẹ̀yáwó ọlọ́kan òjọ̀kan láti dáṣẹ́ tara wọn lẹ̀. bákan náà ni gbogbo ẹni tó bá darapọ̀ mọ́ wa pẹ̀lú owó wọn ni ó máa gba èrè gọbọi lóṣooṣù. èyí kì í ṣe sogúndogójì o. fún àlàyé lẹ́kùnrẹ́rẹ́ ẹ kàn sí multilevel marketing cooperative investment credit society limited lónìí ní health concern building lẹ́bàá MRS filling station nítòsí bishop phillips academy ìwó road ìbàdàn tàbí lọ́fíìsì wa tó wà ní stanbic bank building niger west area challenge ìbàdàn ẹ̀rọ ìbánisọ̀rọ̀ 090504816 090504816 pẹ̀lú multilevel marketing cooperative investment credit society limited wàá roko délé ajé.
Uncle Dentist, wetin be cavities and how Colgate take dey protect my teeth from cavities? Shey you dey use comfort?
No dear, na hole for teeth dey cause most tooth pain wey be cavity. But if you use Colgate maximum cavity protection take brush every day, the confirmed formula go help keep natural calcium inside our teeth wey go protect them from tooth decay.
Time don reach to upgrade to the world's most chosen toothpaste, Colgate, because Colgate locks calcium in.
Now, the Nigerian Dental Association, they recommend Colgate.
Celebrate something big with Showmax this football season. Pay for 1 month at Showmax Pro or Showmax Pro Mobile and get a second month on us to watch mind-blowing football in action from the world's best leagues. That's every breathtaking tackle, save, goal, and more from the EPL, La Liga, Serie A, and DStv Premiership. Live from Supersport at 50% off. Sign up at showmax.com and get more for less.
ẹ̀ẹ́dẹ́gbẹ̀ta náírà mẹ́jọ jẹ́ ẹgbẹ̀rún mẹ́rin náírà ẹgbẹ̀rún márùn-ún náírà lọ́nà mẹ́jọ jẹ́ yẹ́rọ. jọ ibo ló ti rówó owó kẹ̀. èní orí owó ìpè tí Airtel máa ń fún mi tí n bá ṣe ra síìmù tuntun mà ní o. wo wọ́n tó ń fún mi ní ìlọ́po mẹ́jọ dátà fún wíwà lórí àtẹ ìbánisọ̀rọ̀ wọn àti ìfà ìlọ́po mẹ́jọ owó ìpè nígbàkigbà tí n bá ṣe ra owó ìpè. ṣé bó o mọ̀ pé o ti lè ra síìmù tuntun báyìí ní èyíkéyìí ilé ìtajà aṣojú tí Airtel fọwọ́ sí. ìwọ ṣá ti lọ pẹ̀lú nọ́mbà ìdánimọ̀ ilẹ̀ Nàìjíríà NIN rẹ kó ju bẹ́ẹ̀ lọ.
Airtel, the smartphone network.
láti gòkè àgùnlà láyé èèyàn nílò ìtọ́sọ́nà ẹni tó mọ̀nà débi àṣeyọrí. FMH International HR àwọn ni gbajúgbajà akọ́ṣẹ́mọṣẹ́ iléeṣẹ́ alárinà tó mọ ojúlẹ̀jà bá ti ń tọ́ni sọ́nà finimọ̀nà nípa bí gbogbo ìwáṣẹ́ṣe lè pàdé àwọn òǹgbanisíṣẹ́ pàápàá jùlọ láwọn orílẹ̀-èdè tó wà lókè òkun.
FMH International HR alábàáṣepọ̀ gidi ni wọ́n jẹ́ pẹ̀lú àjọ oníwádìí ìjìnlẹ̀ àgbáyé tá a mọ̀ sí United Nations Volunteer Research Group láti jùmọ̀ tọpinpin wàhálà táwọn ọmọlẹ̀ yìí ń kojú nídìí ìgbìyànjú ajé lọ sílẹ̀ òkèèrè. ìyẹn ọ̀rọ̀ tó jẹ mọ́ international migration àti international labour activities.
ǹjẹ́ o tiẹ̀ mọ̀ pé o nílò ìmọ̀ tó jinlẹ̀ dáadáa nípa ìlànà à ń tẹ̀lé láwọn pápákọ̀ òfurufú tó fẹ́ gbà sọdá sílẹ̀ òkèèrè. lọ́wọ́lọ́wọ́ bá a ṣe ń sọ̀rọ̀ yìí United Nations Volunteer Research Group pẹ̀lú àjọṣepọ̀ FMH International HR ń ṣe research lórí ẹ̀dùn ọkàn àti ìpèníjà tẹ́ ẹ bá ní. questionnaires táwọn òṣìṣẹ́ FMH bá fún yín lágbègbè yín lẹ́yìn ṣàlàyé ìrírí yín sí.
fún àlàyé lẹ́kùnrẹ́rẹ́ kàn sí wọn ní 3rd and 9th floor Cocoa House Dùgbẹ̀ Ìbàdàn.
telephone 0817 4444 627
àti 08168737222.
With star 966 hash easy banking, you can open a Zenith Bank account, purchase airtime and data, make transfers to any bank in Nigeria, pay bills and make POS payments, create a wallet account, and perform other self-service options like PIN and password reset and temporary blockage of your account. Star 966 hash is fast, easy, and convenient. And more importantly, it can be used on any phone type as it requires no data. Dial star 966 hash to get started now. Zenith Bank, in your best interest.
The time 23 minutes before 7 o'clock. The program is still Breaker Dawn Newspaper Review. Dr. Jadokun is still very much online with us this morning. Yes, I don't know what makes the federal government happy, but right now it seems the government is having what it wants from Twitter, because Twitter has agreed to open its office in Nigeria in 2022. And Lai Mohammed has, yes, and he explained that the federal government's engagement with Twitter has been extremely positive without any acrimony. So, Dr. Jadokun, could it be true that because Twitter took its headquarters to Ghana, do you think the federal government was actually angry with this move? And right now, once Twitter has agreed to bring its headquarters back to Nigeria or to open a Nigerian branch or a Nigerian office, then all will be well.
Well, some would suggest that there's some method to the madness of Nigerian government, the madness of banning Twitter. That why there's some method and there's some success to this method is that at least Twitter has now said they will now open an office in Nigeria. But this is at great cost. What is the cost to the Federation? The cost is $150.46 billion, which is about $366.88 million that has been lost and continues to be lost since Twitter has been banned. In other words, the Twitter ban has cost Nigeria 102.77 million every hour. In other words, 250,000. From that point of view. So we are losing quite a lot of money. When you're losing about 102 billion, you understand, million rather, every hour, then it shows you that there's malady in this decision. And I'm sorry to use such firm words. So will that cost be offset by Twitter basing their office in Nigeria? What of all the funds that have been lost and investment that have been lost? What of the message out there to the world? So I think it's a high price to pay. Well, welcome development that Twitter will be coming back on board. But I think the federal government has got what it wants, or may have got what it wants, at a very, very high cost. And the people that have suffered more are the Nigerian people. So yes, whilst we welcome it, we will say that it's been at a very, very high and intolerable cost.
Well, the message is that we're still hoping that very, very soon the ban will be lifted. It's not lifted at the moment. So that means your figures need to be doctored later.
Yes, but the point is still that at every day, every hour that we don't have Twitter, the Nigerian economy is losing 102.77 million every hour. So it continues to rack up. We're racking up the loss. So yes, Twitter might come back next week. It might come back next 2 weeks. The losses are there. We might be able to recover some of them. But the fact remains is that you don't make policies like this. If that was the intention of the Nigerian government, then they should have found more subtle ways, more nuanced ways to engage Twitter rather than an outright ban, because it sends the wrong message to investors and out there. But also, what of the people, the Nigerian people that should be benefiting? Our economy, you understand, is reeling from, some will not say recession, but at least near recession. And so banning Twitter doesn't help us. So yes, I get your point, but the point is that it's not been the most effective way to get your demands.
All right, just before we look at the next story from GBEMI, I want to quickly clear my table here. The Nigerian Customs Service is in the news again, and it has confirmed by an official statement that 8 people were killed by its officers at the border town of GBEMISOLA, Katsina State, but described the incident as an accident occasioned by brake failure. Recall that there have been reports that officers of the Nigerian Customs Service were driving a Hilux van, ran into a group of people in GBEMISOLA, killing a few while injuring others. Why must it be Nigerian Customs Service all the time? And after that, they just come bring an official statement to validate whatever shenanigan or whatever atrocity they've committed and just give it to Nigerians, and life goes on.
Well, it's quite unfortunate. It seems as if their risk management, if I may use that expression, is very, very poor. Because it's the same custom men that had issues in some parts of the border in Oyo State recently, and where there were shootings. But it's a tragic accident. We must give them that. That's a tragic accident. They say it's due to brake failure. It must mean that their vehicle wasn't maintained. I don't think it's an excuse for customs that rely on mobility and flexibility to be going around with vehicles that their brakes have not been well oiled or well serviced. You and I have vehicles, and we know that what we do on a regular basis is that we service our cars, and we know when there's a problem. And more importantly, when various people are going to be driving it, you ensure that this is serviced. So I think the customs obviously would have to review their operations. Somebody has to pay for this. And of course, the people that have been killed has to be duly compensated. You cannot bring life back. But what at least you can do, is to ensure it doesn't happen again. And I'm happy to say that the Colonel Ahmed Ali has ordered an investigation into this. But we hope that it doesn't go the way investigations go in many parts of Nigeria, where investigations are ordered, but where we never see the light of the day in terms of
Doctor, if an individual, if a Nigerian, an ordinary citizen drives a car and the brake fails and it ends up killing 1 people, not even talking of 8 people, the person will be charged to court for, is it manslaughter or what?
Of course, yes, and we expect them to be charged. But what I'm also saying is that, is it a system failure? Is it human error? You understand? What exactly occasioned that? So, of course, the people who drove the vehicles, of course, will be charged to court, or the person who drove it. But still, we also have to look at fundamentally why it happened in the first place. Because, yes, you remember that when you drive your car, you are the only one in possession. But when these custom vehicles, you have a series of drivers in possessions. So you rely on regular maintenance and you rely on protocols. So, of course, I advocate that the law should take its course, but we should get to the root cause of why it happened in the first place, why the cars were not properly maintained. And so not just the driver should be prosecuted.
The Nigerian Customs Service, I believe, should not be in the news for negative reasons most of the time.
Should not be
in the news for negative reasons. Most of the time.
Yes, but Colonel Ahmed Ali would also argue that the Nigerian Customs Service is making records amount of money, much more than before. So they're also in the news for good things, of making much more money, you understand. But unfortunately, you understand, because of the hazardous nature of their job, they're also in the news when they make mistakes, and their mistakes are plastered all over the place. It's a tragic mistake, and let's hope that their duty of care will be observed better in future.
Yeah. All right, we open the phone lines now. 0705 5949, 0809 7949.
Hello, good morning.
Hello.
Good morning to you.
Hello.
We can hear you.
Good morning, this is Comrade Omanoluti from Agbo. Today is International Youth Day. It's word of celebration. It's word of counsel and advice for the youth in Nigeria also. In respect the ban of Twitter, the Nigerian government celebrates illegality. There is no ground, there is no cause for defending or want to persuade or assuade Nigeria by restoring the Twitter office back to Nigeria. It's a fight against the fundamental right of freedom of expression and information in Nigeria. Let's call it straight. Thank you.
Thank you, Comrade, for your contribution. 0809 7949. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning to you.
Alaja from Coca-Cola. Hello?
Go ahead, Alaji. We can hear you.
Yeah. I think the plea by Governor today for World Bank, to World Bank to bring back the council fraud control process, show that my governor by allow complacency or maybe a kind of omission and lackadaisical attitude. So put up in this sorry state, because what are they looking at until all those conditions were flouted, which culminated in taking the project away, and this confirms that indeed the mistake is from the fault is from the state government. I only pray that his plea can bring back the project. I love him to the bone because he has performed above average in all sectors. But having said that, I think his government messed him up as far as this project is concerned. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, Alaji, for dropping your contribution. Those dropping comments on YouTube and on Facebook. Thank you. Adigoke Sheon, Aziza Taishat, Sunday Oyemechi, Omotalani Abiola, Olawanyin Damilare, Zulu Olarewaju Soliu, Snatch Boy, and Adigoke Sheon. Okay, we thank you for your contributions. The toll gate should return, but the federal and state government should be in charge of the toll gate fee, not only the federal government. Kazim Master Adeolu, good morning. The entire crew, the toll gate tariff is so much, and I think let me just quickly take a look at what the minister said. He said cars will pay 200 naira, SUVs and jeeps will pay 300 naira, private buses will pay 300 naira, commercial buses will pay 150 naira, luxury buses and trucks will pay 500 naira. That's according to the plan which the minister rolled out earlier. And these other comments, okay. See, concerning the toll gates, it's a welcome development, but is it the right time for the federal government to introduce this kind of policy? While 70% of Nigerians are dying of hunger, this is not what Nigerians need for now. PMB-led this administration PMB-led administration should please do the needful by providing enabling environments that will bring enough food on the table of their citizens. Omobashiro, we got your message. Thank you for that. And you can also drop your comments, your messages, or your comments rather, on Facebook and on YouTube, 32FM 949 Ibadan. When we return from this break, we'll read your messages and take more calls.
Let your kids' imaginations run wild as they blast off into a whole new world of awesome edutainment on DSTV. There's a huge selection of shows to choose from, like Miraculous Tales of Ladybug and Cat Noir on Disney Channel.
She's so amazing.
A week to beat the world under Vinci.
I've never seen a sport like it.
Grizzy and the Lemmings on Boomerang. And Nick Music on Nicktunes.
Can I get a drum roll, please?
It's your moment to get and stay connected to the wonderful world of DSTV.
Are you a business owner interested in an alternate stream of income? Then you are qualified to sign up and become a Stanbic IBTC at Ease agent in your area.
Stanbic IBTC Bank is taking banking right next to the people. Credible bank agents are needed to sign up.
To confirm your eligibility and also sign up, please visit www.stanbicibtcbank.com now.
It pays to be a Stanbic IBTC at Ease agent. It pays to have an alternate stream of income.
Stanbic IBTC. It can be.
Celebrate something big with Showmax this football season. Pay for 1 month at Showmax Pro or Showmax Pro Mobile and get a second month on us to watch mind-blowing football in action from the world's best leagues. That's every breathtaking tackle, save, goal, and more from the EPL, La Liga, Serie A, and DSTV Premiership. Live from Supersport at 50% off. Sign up at showmax.com and get more for less.
Babe, that girl must be using something. Hey, Berry, what kind of something? You to see how she's always smiling, displaying her 32. You're cuckoo right. I know her secret. I know what she's using. She uses it twice a day. Tell me her secret. I'll give you a hint. ABZ. ABZ?
Yes, ABZ is the secret. Close-Up contains antibacterial zinc, ABZ, which gives you 3 times more freshness and 3 times more protection. Better than your regular toothpaste. Now you know the ABZ secret.
The new Close-Up is her secret. Everybody must hear. You can't keep a secret.
New Close-Up with antibacterial zinc. Triple the freshness, triple the protection.
I'm a working woman, a wife, and a proud mother of one. This leaves me with very little time to make regular trips to the clinic for contraception. Self-injectable contraceptive gives me 3 months protection with just 1 injection. I can privately self-inject and be at peace. No one has to know. At first, I was not sure I would be able to inject myself, but with training and support, I realized it was a simple and painless process that doesn't leave any scars on my skin. Self-inject contraceptive has given me the power to decide when and if I will have my next child and more time to be the woman that I am and want to become.
Would you like to explore your contraceptive options and find out more about self-injections? Call us today by dialing 321 or visit discoveryourpower.org for more information. This message is supported by Health Promotion Division, Federal Ministry of Health.
Different days, different roads. All not to hammer. Keep going and spice up your hustle.
Introducing the new Gala Spicy. It's big, meaty, tasty with that special Niger spicy flavor. Try it today. Available for 100 naira only. Gala Spicy. Spice up your hustle.
On a cool day, what do you want to do?
Make you spice up your life.
As in, let's see as it hot. And chilled Sprite to take cool body.
Give your favorite pepper meal that extra vibe with a chilled bottle of Sprite, now in a new bottle. Enjoy the refreshing lemon lime taste of Sprite no matter the heat.
94.9.
0705 500949 0809 7949. Those are the numbers to call, and of course we still have your messages on Facebook and of course YouTube.
Let's
Hello.
take this call.
Hello.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning, we can hear you.
ADEYANJU from Ibadan. You see, toll gate, if properly managed, it's not a bad idea. But if anybody prefer to...
Oh, we lost that call. Mr. Fagbemi, you can call back. Hello.
Hello, good morning. Okay. Hello, good morning.
Hello?
Good morning.
Hello?
Hello, good morning.
Please turn down the volume on your radio set. We can hear the feedback.
Hello?
We can hear you. Please. Okay, Omobasharo. Hello, good morning. Okay, please try to reach us again. 0705 500949 0809 7949. If you can't get through to us, you can drop your comments or your messages on Facebook and on YouTube. 32FM 949 Ibano. Ogundijo Latif says from saying the federal government's deal with Twitter is a welcome idea.
All right, Dr. Ojedokun. All right, let's see this before. Hello. Yes, in one of the headlines today, Tinubu has no certificates. He steals huge amounts of Lagos money monthly. That's from Bode George. This enmity is not going to end because they belong to two sides of the divide.
Certificate, wasn't he?
Yeah,
about stealing money.
Stealing money.
First and foremost, I don't think Tinubu has been convicted before any court. So I think those are just mere and endless speculations. As to the issue of certificate or not certificate, I think Tinubu has been investigated over and over again, and we seem incapable of nailing him on that for whatever reason. I don't know why, for that reason. But if all those issues can be proved, then the question arises whether he has any legitimate right, to have contested in the past for office or even to contest in the future. But I also think that within the APC itself, there's some tendencies that are trying to bring these things up because they feel that Tinubu is a strong force and potentially has a chance of becoming a candidate in the next election. Don't ask my view as to whether I think he has a chance, but I think some people think he has a strong chance, and they're bringing all this up. Some people will say
Adeseye Ogunlewe, a former minister, actually said that Tinubu is the right person to succeed Muhammadu Buhari. So he now received a backlash from Body George.
Oh, it's George, yes. Olabode George is a PDP hack. I'm sorry to use that expression. What I mean is a PDP person. So I don't expect Olabode George to say anything good about Tinubu. And he's been rivals with Tinubu for years. Having said that, I think there are some legitimate issues that Tinubu has to resolve. He has to resolve the issue of certificate. He has to resolve the issue of his origin. He also has to resolve the issue of his stupendous wealth. You understand? Whether they're legitimate or not.
Hello.
The issues has to be resolved.
Hello.
We're not talking about him going for governor of state.
Fagbemi and Allah from Ibadan.
Dr. Ojedokun, we have a call. What
I'm trying to say is, toll gate is not a bad idea if properly managed. You remember Obasanjo cancelled it because of the level of corruption. Now, if anybody prefer to remain to be deceived by this Buhari-led administration, they can remain so. But I, Fagbemi, can never be deceived again because going by the level of lies and deceit that I've seen from this government for the last 6 years, going by the impunity that I've witnessed, going by the unprecedented level of corruption I have seen, there's no way I can trust and believe this government. I think they should better repair our roads and construct in walls and leave toll gate alone because this Buhari-led administration is too corrupt and deceitful. God bless Nigeria. Good morning.
Amen. God bless Nigeria. Good morning to you too, Mr. Fagbemi. 0809 7949 0705 500949. Hello, good morning.
Hello?
Good morning.
to become president in 2023.
All right, Bashir.
Dr. Jadokun, yes, you were making a point the other time. I was to ask you to wrestle power from the north back south. Tinubu and Bodejo should just bury their hatchets. They are first Yoruba people before becoming politicians.
Well, even if they bury their hatchets, the major thing is that they belong to different political parties. So that's also another divide.
But they are from the same Odudua. Now we're clamoring for Odudua Republic here and there, left, right, center.
Yes, but the elections are not going to be fought on whether they are from the same part of the country. The elections are going to be fought on the same platforms of political parties. So except both of them come and join and form a new political party, Tinubu is going to be left to secure the nomination within APC and of course somebody within PDP. But I agree with you that if the Yorubas are not as united as they should be, there will be problems. Having said that, Obasanjo secured the presidency of this country without the backing of his people, in quotation. He didn't get the backing of his people in the first term. So it is possible for someone to still win the presidency without the backing of his his direct consequences. It's been shown before.
All right, let's take this normal call. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
What's the difference between Tinubu and Bodejo? Good morning. One has been convicted, one has not. Good morning.
All right, good morning and thank you for your contribution.
Body judge was discharged at some point or acquitted at some point.
He said, the last caller said it's a case of pot calling kettle black.
So whether we like it or not, another fact is whether we like it or not, we'll still see some people rooting for these guys. But then,
of course.
It's a wrap. Thank you very much, Dr. Olu Ojedokun, for coming around and for being with us today. And thanks to all those who called, those who sent in messages on Facebook and YouTube. And we would want you to join us again tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. for another edition of the Breakdown Newspaper Review. My name is GBEMISOLA. SOYEMI.
My name is DELE ADEYANJU. Thank you so much for your time with us. Stay with us for the next program, and that is
the Smart
Kids Show with Auntie Oyiza.
The station admired by other radio stations.
Yes, we are.
32 FM 94.9.
Show me your 32.